So, I've never used a Nothing phone before, but looking at their lineup, the Nothing 4A Pro really caught my eye. So I've been using it for the last few weeks, and there are some bits here I really like, but there's also some bits that, well, I've got to be honest, I just don't get.
If you're new around here, hi, I'm Carl. I'm not some trendy tech YouTuber. I'm a very busy dad of young kids with a full-time job. I love tech, but I'm not that interested in the numbers or the tech specs.
I'm interested in how it would actually slot into your life.
And the features you're gonna actually use day to day.
Okay, let's start with the positives, because this is a really good phone. There are so many bits here that are absolutely flagship level, and this is a £500 phone. First up, you can't review a Nothing phone without talking about the design. They always manage to do something that is a bit different and to stand out from the crowd. And although the Nothing 4A Pro is pared back a bit compared to their other phones, like the regular 4A, for example, it's still definitely enough to turn heads. They've put most of their design flair up into the camera bump, while the rest of the phone is relatively understated with a nice premium feeling metal finish. And I really like this. It feels like a balance which I can get on board with. Lots of Nothing's other products, they're a bit too much in your face for me, whereas this one is much more up my street. And I've still been asked quite a lot while using what is that phone, so it definitely stands out still. The other big wins here were the battery and the processors. Now, neither is industry leading, of course, it's a mid-range phone, but both are easily modern flagship level, if on the lower end maybe, of flagships. The Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 processor, it gets the job done, it's just one generation behind the latest. And the battery can definitely last for 2 days, just not maybe quite as comfortably as some of the other phones which I've used recently, like the OnePlus 15, for example. I really like Nothing's operating system as well. There's barely any unwanted apps installed by default, which is refreshing on a mid-range price phone like this. And their design language is really strong. It definitely has personality to it, even in the software, especially if you use their blacked out icon pack, which I used for most of the time that I had the phone, and it definitely looks better. It's really stylish, but I did also find it kind of frustrating at times. It's amazing how much I rely on color to be able to see which app is which quickly, but you kind of got used to it. So it depends how much you want that really stylish look. The cameras are also very good considering the price, mainly I think because you get 3 of them. A wide, ultra-wide and telephoto. Now, none of them are going to win any awards for quality, but I've had no problems with any of them. I think these are average looking photos that are going to please average people. And I think that's the most important bit for a phone like this. If you want the best camera possible in your phone, this isn't the one to buy. No one has ever said it is. But because of those 3 cameras, it covers all of your bases in all of those situations in the same way that you get when you buy a flagship phone, but it's at a mid-range price. And most other mid-range phones, they don't do that. Okay, let's go over some of the things which I didn't like here. And to be fair, there aren't too many, but the 2 big ones I've got though, sadly, they're 2 of Nothing's big flagship features, the Essential Space app and the Glyph Matrix. So, the Essential Space is so important to Nothing that they've put a whole dedicated button on the side of your phone which you can't remap for it. And although I like the concept, I'm not a fan of the execution at all. Right now, it's basically a screenshots app, but without basic screenshot functionality. If you try and use it like a screenshot app, you can't easily save and share the image, crop it, annotate it, anything like that. Instead, you get it to record a voice memo to go alongside it, which AI is going to use to try and store it in a way that is helpful to you or craft it into something else, like maybe a to-do list or a calendar. Okay, great, but what if I don't want to start speaking out loud to my phone? There's been a few times when I've thought about using this and it's made sense to be using it. Sitting flicking through things on my phone like blogs and articles while I watch TV with the wife, or sat in bed while she's trying to get to sleep, or reading blogs and articles on the train, for example. You know, those have all been real situations where I've thought, this is useful. I'll save this for later with a note on my thoughts for it. I can see why I would use Essential Space here. But they're all situations where I didn't want to start speaking all my thoughts out loud into my phone. For some strange reason, you can't just choose to type something quickly instead. And that seems like a really strange omission to me, which makes this nowhere near as helpful as it could be for me in my average life. Then there's the glyph matrix, which I know is a central part of their whole design ethos, but I'm sorry, I really didn't like it. I just didn't find it useful at all. I had it set to be a clock and to flash for notifications, but it was rarely actually useful to have either of those things there on the back of my phone. And there were times when it was really quite annoying, with big bright flashes on the back of my phone. And the red tally lamp, which is kind of part of the system, it's just not needed. I work in pro video in my day job. I know all about tally lamps. I use them all the time, but you just don't need one on a phone for normal use. I actually turned this one off because it was showing up in the footage because it was so bright. So an example here. My youngest had a virus while I've been testing this phone, and I filmed a quick video of her breathing to show the doctor. And it was in her room at night, and the red tally light was flashing on and off and showing up in the video as this big ominous red glow all over my daughter, which, needless to say, when I was already quite stressed about her health, it was pretty annoying. But apart from those things, the other bits on my complaints list are much smaller. Nothing OS overall is really nice and polished, but my pet peeve of having to swipe down twice to get to the brightness slider, that's still there, which I do find really annoying, but it's certainly not a problem that only Nothing have. And surprisingly, HDR content isn't supported for some reason in Netflix, another pet peeve of mine, and that is a shame. It does work in YouTube, but it doesn't seem quite as punchy as on other phone displays though. So that is the Nothing 4A Pro. I found this one really hard as a video to make, to be honest. At its core, it's a good phone, but like all Nothing products, it's dressed up in this stylish but almost retro electronics aesthetic, and that is both their biggest strength and their biggest weakness. On one hand, it means they have a very stylish looking phone that really stands out from the crowd of smartphones, which, let's be honest, all look kind of similar. Even this metal look on the 4A Pro, which is a dialed back option compared to their other phones, it's not as in your face as those, but it definitely still stands out from the crowd. But then that out there design, it leads to features like the glyph matrix, which although some people do seem to love it online, I kind of find it annoying, to be honest. So all in all, I don't really know what to make of the Nothing 4A Pro. I think this is probably the phone from Nothing that I would like the best from their lineup, which is why I've tried it. But I also think realistically, let's be honest, I'm not the target audience for this phone. But that's fine. I'm a boring dad in my 30s and my style is, let's be honest, is hardly out there and turning any heads. Whether or not this is the right phone for you, I guess really comes down to this design. If you love the way that it looks and it suits your style, then get it. It's a great mid-range phone. Okay. Back to the day job. Thank you for watching.